Hey y'all. The movie for October 25th was Weapons, and this is a good one. This is a good one. I guess just a bit of background on it. Watching it, man, just like really, really stylish looking movie, right? Lots of great acting, no doubt, and lots of like good little effects too for like the horror, right? I mean, um, the main antagonist, this witch, she has like such a like creepy look about her, so disheveled and disgusting, and that's part of the point that I kind of picked up on a little bit. Um, and what else? Yeah, the acting. From everybody, right? Everybody's so good in it. Camera work. There's like lots of like neat little camera tricks. Everything always kind of has like a little symmetrical look to it, which I really like. Makes it look very clean. Um, but specifically, there's like a few shots that I really like. There's a shot where like it's like a door closing and the like camera kind of like follows it, so like the door's open, it closes, and it like stays looking in the direction the door closed. I think it looks cool. And then there's another one early on where the camera's kind of set on the counter because you're just following the main teacher. She's like making a drink for herself at home. So you have the camera on the counter, and then you hear the door knocking. So the camera just like shifts over to the door as she walks, like in frame to where the door is. Very very good, very simple, right? But it just looks nice. But there's lots of that throughout the movie. Lots of everything I mentioned. Lots of good acting, lots of good camera work, cinematography, lots of just like great special effects stuff. And spoiler, but man, that ending, huh? Pretty crazy for an effect. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. This like dismemberment in such a way since I watched like Day of the Dead. Maybe is that the one? The zombie movie where they're stuck in the bunker underground, right? And it's the army people and like the civilian slash scientist people. I think that's Day of the Dead. I'm not sure now off the top of my head. But yeah, in that one, if y'all have ever seen it, there's a part where one of the army guys is getting dismembered by the zombies, and they kind of like grab him by the throat and like stretch out like his head. Cool shot, but there's something very similar to that in this at the very end. But man, it looks good. It looks really really good. Um, but honestly, one of the main things I wanted to talk about is everything kind of surrounding the movie. Just straight off the bat, I'm just gonna say recommend, right? But I'm not gonna be talking about the movie necessarily, just kind of like the commentary around it and some of the things I was thinking while watching it. Because I've said before, I don't really look into things a lot of the times. I like to go in fresh and just like whatever I think, and if it's still kind of capturing me, um, I'll look into it. But this is one where there was like a lot of buzz around it, obviously, from like a industry side, because so many people were trying to like get in on this because it was so good, so original. Um, so like I heard a lot about that just because I look at a lot of like movie news and stuff. So I kind of knew like a soft angle that man, this is gonna be one that's gonna be talked about for a while, huh? And then obviously the like lightly political nature of it. That's like one thing I kind of had spoiled for me in this is like people saying after the fact, it's like man, like this movie's like so obviously like an allegory for like gun violence. And watching it, I can see how people came to that conclusion, right? The movie's literally called Weapons, and another big thing too is just like the fact that it's like such a huge case like against children, and then obviously with like all the gun violence in America, um, so it's very easy to sort of like take those things and like connect them very easily. And then another like supporting factor of that too is just like how in the movie, I guess the way like all the individuals, like the characters, will end up like responding to the event. Obviously there's like the initial outrage with like parents and like the way the school is handling it, and the parents kind of reaction to how the school is like handling the situation, and also like the parents disdain for the teachers and like just the school industry as a whole maybe. um, but then also like commentary on how you know uh, like police will deal with like cases of like shootings and stuff like that. And unfortunately it's always just very neglectful in a way. The police are shown to be like sort of ineffective in this, or at least the main police officer that we follow. Um, he's just like so uncaring almost, right? That's like one like part of it. Him and the teacher are having like a conversation, and she asks him like how his job is going with everything that's going on right now, all these disappearing children, and he's just like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not the reaction you would want somebody like in a position of power to have, for something as serious as this, right? But unfortunately, that's kind of the reality sometimes. A lot of like police officers and stuff, or just people who should be handling situations like this. Either school shootings or like disappearances, stuff like that, right? For them, it's a job, and of course, they want to accomplish this job, but I don't know. Again, I guess like, but also commentary on just like how flawed people can be as well. Um, yeah. So I mean, again, just like with all that being said, just like how people could connect this movie specifically to like gun violence, and then I mean, even again, just like major thing in Josh Brolin characters, his dream. Um, there's already just like a giant gun in the air. Like I don't know. We can make the connection, I guess, or it's very easy to make the connection after something as like obvious as that, as like so like shoved in your face as that. It's like okay, okay. But that's one angle. The other angle, and I mean this is one where I felt like I wasn't really picking up on a lot of the subtleties, and um, I mean I guess I was right about that because man, there's some stuff people pointed out that I just was not thinking about. I'm a huge fan of Red Letter Media, so I checked out their review of the movie, and obviously with them, they're a bit smarter. They've seen a lot more, right? Um, but they pointed out something which I caught on, but wasn't connecting the dots with, and that's this. So it happens three times. At the very start in the school, or like in one of the like character perspectives, in the classroom, they're talking about parasites, tapeworms. um, the what's his name? Wong from the MCU. That guy, the principal character. He's with his husband, and they're sitting down like watching a documentary about like parasitic ants. And then there's one more connection to parasites that I'm forgetting about right now. But all of this is like very background. But I mean, the thing with like storytelling, and I mean good storytelling, is like everything has, or everything should have, like meaning to like the overall theme of the movie, which is why I think it's really cool whenever movies or any type of media will like reference things directly, or like have a piece of content that already exists within the movie, because it's just used as like a supporting piece for what the themes are. Quick example I guess is like Logan, right? Like them using the movie Shane, um, whenever Xavier and Laura are in the hotel room, like that's kind of where she picks it up, and then obviously like bringing back the speech at the very end. But that whole speech is just like a commentary on, I guess, like Logan's character and how it's relates to Laura. And but a lot of movies do that, right? That's just one example because I was thinking about Logan recently. But with this movie, I mean, same thing, right? It's like, why constantly bring up this idea of parasites over and over again? And that's because it relates to the witch, right? She's somebody who like feeds on people. In this situation, it's the kids. She feeds off the kids. Obviously she has like a really just like bizarre look to her. Um, just like in general, like even when she is at like full power, I guess, she just looks creepy, right? But there's that period of time where she isn't really feeding, and she just looks like disheveled, like she's like going bald, like her skin is like cracked and stuff. So I guess it's just like getting you like in a or giving you a better idea how this antagonist operates, which is really cool. And I mean, again, like I saw it there, but I wasn't connecting it quite right. So I guess in that regard, sometimes it is good to just like go out and like gain other opinions, because it gives you a better perspective. Yeah, and I mean, again, like in this case, I really needed it because I was kind of lost here and there. But I was just enjoying like the very surface level story. at this point, because it's a very good thriller, honestly, and a good just character drama. I mean, like, so much is happening with each individual. The teacher has so much going on, like with the grief of losing the kids, and she's trying to like cope with that. And I mean, initially she's doing so much and like trying to put herself back like into the community, either through her work as a teacher, or trying to reach out to the remaining student. But she gets kind of pushed back, unfortunately, and that obviously leads her to her other coping mechanisms, which I guess would be alcohol, right? That's a big one. And I guess sort of like a lustful nature, because she sleeps around a bit with the main police officer, even though he's like in a relationship, right? Um, Again, so I guess just like going, coping in like toxic ways, right? And there's another thing I read too about like alcoholism, like playing a huge role in this as well. Um, but again, that's like something I didn't really connect the dots with, since it's so tied to her character specifically. Um, but then I guess alcoholism and like drug abuse, right? Because then there's the other character, the tweaker character, or the little drug addict character that pops up here and there and has his own chapter in the movie. Him as well, just like doing whatever he can. He's like so like detached from the situation, like so uncaring, and I mean, all he really cares about is just like getting the next fix, right? Um, so he's like another interesting one to throw in there, but again, at times I wasn't really finding his relevance like to the themes, because obviously he plays like a big role like in the actual plot, since he's like the first one to like discover the kids, um, and like where they've been hiding. But yeah, and then I guess with like some other characters, again, like the uncaring nature, or even like the over caring nature, with like Josh Brolin's character. Like obviously, since he's a parent, he cares the most, and he's trying to find his son specifically. Um, and then again with the cop, he just doesn't really care about like doing the job. It's just like another day for him. It's like, oh, we gotta find these kids, but there's no leads, there's no nothing, so like, we can't really do anything. Oh well. uh, just like complete apathy. And I guess that's kind of it, right? I feel like I touched on like a lot of like random pieces here and there, because there is so much like conversation around the movie, and I feel like I'm like, this is one that requires rewatch, and kind of requires you to dig a bit deeper, maybe into the director himself, but then in like his space when he was writing it, because apparently that plays a huge role. um and again, I just haven't done that much research on it. I'm just trying to get like the raw thoughts out to y'all right now, or like raw thoughts out for myself, just so they're there and I can look back on this, and again, just like fresh perspective, like once I've researched and like learned more, then it can like make me better at just watching this movie. um but yeah, because I mean, apparently there's like a lot of layers to this one. um but yeah, like I've always been super interested in this. I mean, like just initially hearing about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be one to watch. But again, I'm like really bad at watching new stuff. I don't I like going to the theater, but it's kind of a hassle, um so usually I'll just wait. And I mean, HBO Max has been kind of clutch lately, like releasing all these new movies. I mean, man, they got well, Talk to Me, which we talked about before. Bring Her Back was a new one that I haven't really heard about, but it like caught my attention when I saw it, so I'm about to check that one out. And then The Substance from last year, I believe, right? That's another one that's like been pretty high profile, but that I haven't seen, so I need to check that one out. So I mean, again, I guess shout out to HBO, even though they're increasing their prices, which is pretty scummy, but whatever. Um, if you got some spare income, just like buy physical copies. Um, but yeah, that's about it for this one. I mean, like, hopefully, to whoever just like comes across this, you want to have like a conversation, we can talk about it, and maybe you can just like give me some more insight on some of the stuff I'm missing, or maybe point me in the right direction, because this is a movie that sort of has like a lot to say, and maybe I'm just a bit too dumb to pick up on all of it on my own, at least, you know what I mean? But you get smarter through talking and like learning stuff. So ready to learn. If anybody wants to teach, or I'll just learn on my own, do it my way. But yeah, I guess that's about it for this one. Take care.